Prost.
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Oh.
Joe Rogan all day, all night, all day, all day, all night.
Oh, I am.
You're creaming a little. What are you drinking?
It's called Guinness.
Oh, never heard of it.
This is new.
Well, thank you for my own
Guinness.
beer. Thank you for my 3-month-old beer.
Oh, thank you. It's been stored in carbonite.
Carbon 8.
Oh. Do you think George Lucas ever sat at the Lucas Ranch? He goes, carbonate.
He's like, what do I call this carbon material? And he's like sipping on a fucking Diet Coke. Oh, wow. The bubbles, they burned my nose.
What are Ugnaughts?
What?
What are Ugnaughts?
I don't know.
The Ugnaughts are like those little like dog-faced guys who hang around the dip tank, where they dip the
Bulldogs,
carbonate
yeah.
tank.
I thought they were going to be the comfortable
Not the
version of
Jawas.
space boots.
Nuts.
Brian got it.
Uggs. Uggs.
See, because of Uggs.
Because I own several pairs.
It's a portmanteau of Uggs and a cosmonaut.
Ugnaughts.
Wow, portmanteau.
Ugnaughts is. Have you seen The Mandalorian season 1?
I think. I've seen all Star Wars related stuff.
Okay, so you know when that one guy who kind of looked like alien guy who was like, I've spoken.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
He's similar.
spoken.
Yeah, he's that. Yeah.
That's an Ugnaught.
Oh really?
Yes.
Okay. He's a very handsome.
They're in Empire Strikes Back. Anyways, who cares about Star Wars?
Agreed.
Fuck you.
Well, I barely made it.
I only
in
care
today.
about the real Hunger Games.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Cars.
yeah. I was gonna say I barely made it in. Well, my car's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
There are things under the surface. Like I think I bought it like someone broke it and then traded it back in before I bought it years ago. Luckily, I don't think it was anything serious, but
They hit
Like-
somebody on a country road and didn't report it and just got rid of the car. And now you have
like
that.
they got a body on it and then they just had to toss the car.
Yeah.
And then they resold it to me. But my dad and I don't know if you guys do this, but my wheel well has a dent where we hit the dead person, now dead. And so we
deceased.
just started sticking stuff in the hole where it used to be. So like there's like the wheel well, I'm like just kind of smushing two pieces together with anything I can find. So we like we're putting like sharp screws into right in front of where the wheel is. Just that's gonna work out. Like it's not even secure.
What happened? Sorry.
No one knows. I think
So
someone
They're
got
fixing
it.
up his car because
Yeah, there's an issue with the wheel well on the driver's front wheel.
Is your wheel trying to escape?
We're just doing kind of like MacGyver, like just trying to make
Your
it work.
linkage?
Yeah, there's an
talk
issue.
to my dad. You'll never stop talking to him about it.
Exactly. So we were like gonna try to zip tie it, all that stuff. But
tape.
the weird thing is like there's this guy that whenever I go home from work, he's just there. And he comes over and he says what's up, and it's been too long. I can't ask his name now. It's been
where is he at the side of the road? Is
Yeah,
he
like
how
he's
much
in your apartment?
He's
or?
like he's outside.
How much
of-
Robitussin are you drinking before
Yeah,
this?
he might not be real. It might just be I'm looking in the mirror of the car as I get out. I'm out of
You
it.
again.
But it's been too long.
It's a
I think
Black
I
Mirror
think I know
episode.
their name, but it's been months now of this meeting, and he'll go around my car and like look at it to see if I fucked it up at all or messed it up at all, and like magic marker things on it. Like if there's like a new scratch, he's like, "Don't worry, I got you," and he'll like put like white out on my
Oh
car.
my god!
Is it
that's-
literally just like white out though?
I don't know what it is.
Non-actual
He doesn't,
detail?
he's never shown it to me. He's just like, "You come back, it'll be good." I'm like,
And does he live?
"No,
This-
no, it's just I don't know. It's like some
Imagine he goes onto his car and it's like completely covered in white out.
This your lights are covered in white.
Windows.
This is a guy on the street
yeah."
who, when you pull up,
Like right when I'm about
when
to
you
go
pull
in
up,
the
is
park.
like, all right, good to see you
Like,
again.
hold on.
Good to see you
And
again.
he circles, yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
are you dinging people?
And
Are you
he gives me crap if I haven't like.
Do you think he dings your car just so he can color your car?
just so he has
I
something to
think
cover up? Yeah.
You're onto something. But yeah, he literally will get mad at me if I don't wash it enough.
Walks around with one of
And
those
I'm
Shiv
like,
rail
this
spikes.
is not like a fancy car.
Gotta
Like,
take care of this.
I'm gonna have to. It's a 10 plus 2005 010. It's a 10 plus year car now.
a 20.
So
2015.
I don't remember when I bought it or how old it is, but it's starting to I'm starting to think if something bad happens, I might need to swap out to something new. And I don't
that's
know
why
what
you
I'm
got
gonna do.
your trickling some savings in the background.
No.
So- oh, okay.
No, that comes later.
Halo
What kind of
bucks.
car do you think you
Would
would
you-
like
yeah.
to drive?
Oh.
I won't give away your make and model unless you want to do that, but
Oh, should I tell them my license plate?
I don't know.
Yeah, come at me.
Yeah. Tell them what kind of shit.
I got a crew. I got people that watch my car and clean it for me. So
Apparently,
come at me.
Whiteout.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It's a money thing. So like,
Of course.
we're in this weird phase of, do I get? Part of me is like what you have, where you have a I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you have like an older vehicle that probably sucks on gas, but is really cool.
Like the one in a million pieces.
Yeah, the one
Okay.
that's a shell
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
But then
Shell of a man.
we all know that that's kind of not the future. So we're in this weird middle ground now. It's like I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you go electric now, or if you go electric in 5 years, or
Yeah.
10
Well,
years, or
that's
what?
what I've been wondering, because my dad and I notoriously, when if we're ever doing something, it's something that he's a professional at, and I'm just kind of
You get to watch.
I get to
Yeah.
watch and hold a light.
He tells you to do something, and you're like,
yeah.
he's like, no, give me that. Yeah.
It's
I don't know what that's like.
It's following the same like timeline as like a monastery being built, right?
Yeah.
Different lifetimes, family.
Are you talking about like
Like when they build a monastery, and
the
it's
three
different-
generations
yes.
that built Notre Dame?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is get this car done, maybe sooner than later. I'd like to have you guys in it and drive around and cool stuff like that. But get it done in a few years.
It's a Datsun, or what is it?
My dad actually owned a Datsun. That's
cool.
They're actually cool.
They're
cars.
sick, yeah.
It's a 1970s Chevy Nova.
Oh.
It came with a 350 small block engine. And for reference, I don't know. We don't have a picture.
So that's
of it.
like a plug-in hybrid, right?
Yeah. Which is funny enough to say, it is kind of a hybrid in a different sorts, where it used to be a manual and it was converted into an automatic.
Oh.
And it came with that 350 small block engine, but we didn't use it because I think we found some damage with it. And then we bought this 1994 Ford Caprice. That's the wagon. I actually have a whole video of it, and just to serve in its memory, it had the wooden spoilers. It had the seats in the back that fold and you can look backwards.
Oh, I love those. I love
That's
those.
the natural.
Yeah.
That's the natural state of a 90s wagon.
Oh,
for
it was
sure.
amazing. It was amazing. And I'll have to show you the footage one day. But long story short, we ripped that apart because that was on its way out. We cut it up, put it out of its misery, and then we're going to take the engine from that Caprice and put it into the Nova. So now we'll have fuel injection.
Sure.
And it will complete the full wrap around the tree.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Excessive speeds when I lose control.
Yeah.
But I think in the back of my mind, is there a time where you think we could ever be in a society where, I got to look over my shoulder if I want to take the Nova out for a ride, or any kind of muscle classic
Yeah.
car? Does anyone have to worry about that in the future, or is it like grandfathered?
Because
in?
they've thrown around ideas of not producing or selling any
That's how it starts.
any gas cars by X year, 20, 30, 50, 40, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You mean like because of that? Because like, yeah,
Well,
I would assume that
You're going to stop polluting vehicles being sold. And what's the next step after that, right?
well, first of all, I don't know that.
Shoot everyone.
Give me a car or give me death. Yeah, I don't know. I because the way this country works, first of all, like
Does it work?
you might have a government that well, that's a little too edgy.
so deep.
That's a little too edgy for this
I'm sorry.
for this program.
I'll retract that statement.
No, but you might have one government that says we're gonna ban the sale of these cars by 2030, and then you have another government come in and they're in for
Sacrifice everything.
another 10 years, and they're like, yeah, and they're
Burn
like,
everything.
actually, yeah, if you don't work in the oil fields, you will be imprisoned. And so yeah, I don't know, but
Oil fields confirm citizenship. Sign up now.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would buy. Actually, my neighbors have an electric version of the car you have, that your everyday
Yeah,
driver. And they like it a lot.
hideous. I was lucky to get the first gen, but not lucky because you know what happened to my car.
You got a fucking lemon, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would like an electric car because if I'm gonna buy a new car, it would be cool to never put gas in it. But realistically, I think I would just like a hybrid where you have a bit of a gas backup. Hopefully, you don't burn a lot of fuel, but I would like that. I mean,
you're still filling up at the end of the day.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
You plug in your cord, right? I mean,
We are a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit
a-
in like that window between the two anyway. We're in a hybrid time frame anyway, where however long it takes for them to kind of force us to go electric, we're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, what's the nature of being forced to go electric, Brian? Do you think it's out of need, or is it out of
Big electricity.
greed?
Greed. It's definitely greed.
Are you on this guy's side?
Misspell greed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't looked up anything about the actual like benefits to the health of the planet.
yeah.
Regarding
there's
battery
pros and
creation
cons
and whatever.
with both.
part of my biggest problem for like insisting on electric cars is not any of the stuff that maybe we'll get into where people have some electric car conspiracy theories. But my problem with it is like it's the oil companies, it's the industrialists, if we can say that. It's the government passing the responsibility of lowering our carbon emissions as a country, kind of thing. It's passing that on to the individual when it's really not. Like, yes, if we all drove less, we'd be in better shape environmentally,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true.
But we're not the individual driving their car to and from work or to their cottage or to baseball game in the summer. They're not the major polluters.
No.
They're not that's my problem.
That's
So it's like
I agree.
appeasing people by having like, we're doing this at least, guys, and then you ignore the actual things that contribute.
Well,
Yeah,
we-
instead of-
we drive by some major manufacturing plants in
Yeah.
the
Oh,
area
yeah.
where we live, right?
Yeah.
So, and you're saying like, the average Joe driving to work has to pay, some sort of extra tax on top of like, compared to the major contributors,
Right.
you know?
We also like drive to work. We drive past like a Suncor
Yeah,
building.
yeah.
So like the responsibility is kind of being sloughed off by those major polluters onto us just driving a car.
That's fair.
That's where I can
Yeah.
get on board. But where you're kind of missing me is with these internet theories of people saying they're pushing electric cars onto us so that you can't drive off the grid, man, so that you
That's why I
meanwhile
can't-
we have roads where we can only drive on roads anyway, but
Yeah.
but also in there like
can only
they're-
drive on the grid.
if you drive too far out of your 15-minute city, then they'll shut your car off because it's electric. And it's like, well, I mean, we don't have, no matter what this guy says, this guy who knows that we're in the real Hunger Games but can't spell the word cities.
50-minute cities. Welcome to the real Hunger
The
Games.
real Hunger Games.
Could that be? It could be photoshopped. I don't know.
I
It-
know. His
Like
fingers.
actually,
Oh,
as
of
I'm
course
reading
it could
right now,
be.
let's
Of
take a
course
look
it
at his
could be.
3 lizard alien fingers.
This is
shadows. Where's the shadows?
it's not
shadows.
photoshopped. It's a lizard person with only
I
three
mean, that's
fingers.
a perfectly white
Lizard
poster.
people don't cast shadows. Just hold your hand up.
You also have to invite them into your
Oh,
house.
I'm a lizard person. Wait.
Oh my!
But yeah, we got a whole lot of people with their
I think there's a. Oh, by the way, we got spinach dip and spinach dips.
Yeah.
Spinach dip and the chips upstairs.
wow.
What?
You're only mentioning this now?
Yeah,
In a few years, that's going to be illegal. You know that, right?
dip. Dip.
You're not going to be
You want some chip in your dip?
allowed to eat spinach because of the
Yeah, ramifications.
emission,
of,
the carbon emissions involved with cultivating spinach. They're trying to take away our spinach dip. They're forcing us into 15-minute cities
yeah.
to drive electric cars, except not even drive cars at all. That's another thing they say, or they're trying to
Yeah.
eliminate cars.
Well, okay.
Well, what's the
world's
big
screwed, okay?
15-minute city summary anyway? Because we didn't really go into that. Because like cars aren't involved in that, right? It's walking and biking.
Well, I actually don't.
So
He would know more.
yeah,
But I do want to touch on like the concerns of EV.
sure.
what do you mean?
I don't know if I can do that.
You
now
should
or
have
after.
Yeah, go
already
ahead.
done that, but
I was trying to, but we're talking about alien fingers.
you're right. Sorry, you're right.
It's nothing new. It's just I implore anyone who thinks that they could be good to really see the
Yeah.
the consequences. Regardless, you still have to extract some sort of energy
Oh,
source.
I mean, yeah,
right?
talking
Like
about the
lithium mines,
of course,
like,
cobalt
I don't,
and
no, to me, I don't personally know the actual severity of it, but I know that it's being reported as just destroying the planet in a different way.
of course. Oh,
Right?
and
so
and
like you destroy in one way and then the other.
Well, so
Well, you heard about
popping
fires,
off.
right? There's a big gas. I love how big oil just does shit. Like they'll like, I don't know. They may have killed people in the past for figuring stuff out. We wouldn't need oil. Like,
Right.
You know about the diesel guy? You ever hear about that guy?
Oh, the guy who made
Who made diesel? Engines?
Frederick
Von
Diesel.
Yeah. No, that's actually his last name. Yeah. He like fell off a cruise ship.
Of course.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But anyway,
like he was Clinton.
he found an engine that was like the working man's engine that you could like, you know, it wouldn't need that much oil anymore, and they didn't like that.
Look at the guy who made it wasn't. I don't know if it's a folk story, but the guy who invented a car that could run off water.
Oh yeah, there's
shut him
definitely
down.
Yeah, I mean, there were all kinds of pretty out there designs. I mean, there were electric cars 100 years ago,
nuclear
right?
cars.
They really probably weren't that feasible, but yeah, I mean, owning a car and all that goes into that, from the earliest stages of mining to the production to the fuel consumption. All of that is right now under kind of scrutiny because of the environment and because of what I said earlier too, I think, where environmental responsibility is being cast onto the individual lowly peon like us unfairly. But we do have to, I think, look at the impact of, again, from supply chain to use of a car. And that's why I think there is a focus on more pedestrian friendly cities, or in other words, lessening our dependence on cars. And people are taking that sort of idea, that concept of, hey, maybe if we make the downtown core of a city, if we take away street parking, or if we have pedestrian only streets we block off and
Those
stuff.
are cool.
Yeah, great. People are interpreting that as calling for an authoritarian 15-minute city, this idea of a World Economic Forum, because that, of course, has to factor into the conspiracy. This sort of misconception that cities are going to be car-free, the world needs to be car-free, in order for us to... And it's not even about the environment, it's about civilian population control, right? That's
Right.
sort of, that's what this guy's probably... I don't know exactly. He might be an interdimensional being
Yeah.
with his three fingers.
Most
but
likely.
I mean, probably, yeah. So he might be on something else, but that's kind of part of the... Actually, if I can read something, I saw on Reddit a few days ago
If I may.
on the Oshawa. So shout out Oshawa. Just
Oh, they talk about Oshawa
Just
at
the other side of
the
Toronto.
show. They made fun of it twice at that show we went to.
Really? Oh yeah.
compared to
That's some
Tatooine.
regional.
they
Star
made fun
Wars
of
shows.
Durham region. Wow, that's classic. They're just like, look at a map, like what's an area near where we are.
Yes.
But anyway, so somebody was handing out these pamphlets warning the citizens of Oshawa that their government are implementing global initiatives through public and private partnerships to implement 15-minute cities. Just at the very end of it, it's basically imploring people to bother their mayor and member of parliament and member of provincial parliament about 15-minute cities. Like it's got their emails and their telephone numbers, like harass them about not wanting this. At the very
Pictures
bottom
of them watching TV in their living room.
Yeah, at the very bottom it says, our officials may claim that they are unaware of this agenda.
But they know.
Yeah, but there are many signs of a 15-minute city around Oshawa. Some examples are scooters, bike lanes, reduced parking in the downtown area, stack and pack housing in any available spot, mixed-use high-rises very close to the road, purple LED lights, surveillance cameras.
We have orange LED lights because of the green.
Right,
purple?
so it's taking things that are pedestrian-friendly measures, or in some cases, housing measures, which are greatly needed,
Yeah.
and sort of interpreting them as a globalist plot to get rid of cars and also freedom. And like they're taking.
But what else is being said though? Like, it's not just being like everything is like conveniently working. I'm just wondering what's setting people off to be like, whoa, what do you mean by that?
Like what's setting off the conspiracy alarms?
Yeah, like I not that I'm trying to take a side here, but I kind of feel hard to believe that they can just be like, no, like literally, like this is how it's going to work, and everyone's like, well, I don't live anywhere close to a city, and it's not going to affect me, right? Like, you know, like
well, that's just it. Is
liberals in the big city, we can leave them there, right?
It's almost
like,
not worth thinking about because we live in a society that is so car dependent.
Oshawa accent, by the way.
Yeah. We live in we're so dependent on cars, and our infrastructure is so built around the use of cars that there's almost no hope. But of course, there's some pushback to this. Oh, there was also something else in there funny. You might notice lots of housing near a smart center with large globalist big box stores.
Yeah.
So like if you build housing around a Walmart because we've got people living on the streets and people who can't afford rent, so we need to build more housing. But if that's anywhere near a store, which Walmart deserves tons of criticism, but if people can afford to shop there, then that's where they need to shop. So people are losing their minds. People we're losing any chance
paranoia?
we have of actual change. And I'm not saying the World Economic Forum is anything that I want to be never even mind that. That's a bunch of rich people. But anyway, it's I have different conspiracies about that, right? Like,
Different time, maybe.
But yeah, like we have no hope at any kind of improvements if no matter what, there's going to be a paranoid subsection of our.
But is it the paranoia start from? I'm gonna do the Oshawa accent again.
All right.
First you take our city centers, and then you take our gerbs. Like, well, take our gerbs. No, but is it like?
I mean, it's
first
everything.
you start in the city, and then it's gonna get to our hometowns. Is that the paranoia? Like, they're not gonna make a 50-minute town.
thing?
It's not just rural people who are worried about these things,
That's
though, right? Like,
where do they go? Like, what other than being not stable?
It's a
mentally.
confluence of all the things that have happened, from COVID to 5G to people learning from
there's been no
dubious
red
sources
flags.
what Marxism is. People who have Jordan Peterson's Twitter feed on their Google glasses so that they don't know that they're going insane while they slowly rot their entire soul.
Yeah.
It's a globalism, World Economic Forum, conspiracies. It's a social derangement that is like being crafted in this way, and there are very valid concerns with like surveillance, crypto and cashless, a cashless society. That's a valid concern, and like I said, the ruling class kind of passing the buck on environmental protectionism onto an individual with no real power to do anything. That's all valid, and like it comes from I think a real or a valid fear in some cases, but it just gets twisted and perverted in a very, I think, conservative, reactionary, unhelpful way, because we're not going to achieve any kind of positive change in a city because I think we can all agree, like a city like Toronto could be more pedestrian friendly, could be more enjoyable if it's pedestrian friendly, if it has better transit coming into the city. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's I think it's funny. I mean, it's sad and scary, but I ultimately think it's very funny to read this stuff it
just seems like it's
this guy's sign.
It really does seem like, just what I was checking there, it just seems like, from the build up over the last few years, and then it's like, where does it stop? You change one thing, and it's like, people don't want it to have it working, and they take the extra step, and it's like, now you went overboard.
Well, now it's authoritarian, but where's the like
like, we're already being watched. They already can
exactly.
track the
They can already shut off your car. You already have to stay on roads.
Yes.
And the other thing too, like, okay, so
there's that,
because let's say a 15-minute city let's say it's not the Chinese run. I'm not even going to say who else they think runs the world, right? But
fill in the blank.
Girls?
yeah,
Beyonce?
we run the world. Girls, yeah. Put a ring on it.
Yes. That's what you were going to say.
Yeah, so not even getting into that. Let's say
Tunnel.
for a second that there is a beneficial, benevolent reason for 15-minute cities.
Okay.
People can walk to the grocery store. People can walk to restaurants. People can walk their kids to school instead of driving them. All the benefits, first of all, of just walking and the health benefits. Have a convenience, having your house around things you want to be around, a school for your kids, daycare for your kids, having
good.
a sort of
It does sound good.
Exactly. So
It sounds. But
so here's the thing. A lot of these places already exist. So much of Europe in dense metropolitan parts of Europe are planned in this way. Like if you look at an overhead, like an aerial shot of an old European town,
yes,
especially in some cases ones that had some communist central planning to build them with high density housing and schools and hospitals very nearby. Anyway, it's a walkable, workable city. You can see it. You can see the arteries of the city. You can see the infrastructure. And then you look at our cities and it's grids of suburban housing with wasted lawn space and all kinds of stuff. And it's roads and it's gigantic parking lots and huge globalist big box stores. But it's not convenient. It is car centric. It's not person centric. So isn't there, let's say we're able to skip the authoritarian step of you're not allowed to, because people think that a 15-minute city means you're not allowed to leave that city.
Yeah, where's that coming from? That's paranoia. Right?
Exactly, right? Because
first they let you leave, and then they don't.
It's from a misunderstanding of so many things. China has the best rail infrastructure in the world, or world-class rail infrastructure. You're telling me people don't leave their city? It's like an enormous country that people can hop on a train and go wherever. It's paranoia, and it's also fueled by right-wing media that is funded by oil billionaires. I mean, it's real simple if you just want to go even scratch the surface, right? We're being forced to be reliant on cars, and it's from people who fear change. Really,
But they have. I think that there's a good reason to fear, to not trust your, it's good trust
question,
now from 30
Of course
years
it's good
ago,
to question
40 years
things. Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
right? It's okay, sure, maybe I didn't agree with some things, but it's is that going to translate? Why would it?
We're also facing a housing crisis, cost of living crisis.
Yes.
People aren't having kids. People can't afford to have kids, right? So what are the solutions if we're not allowed to change anything?
Not to have kids.
They're like, Andrew, do you want to be a part of this study where we inject you with something totally innocent?
This is concrete. Do you think that Rome was the first 15-minute city?
I often
step
think about
into this lovely walk-up. Only 10 minutes to the Colosseum.
Enjoy the view of the aqueducts.
Yeah.
Everything within a 15-minute area.
Yeah.
We have the blood-infused concrete. We have the...
It's a totally... We
have the open shitters where we can stare at each other and talk and converse. The slave market right beside the Colosseum.
It's a concept that makes total sense, right?
But look what happened to Rome.
It was sacked by barbarians and
Goths.
The
Goths came.
The
Goths. Yeah, the Goths. Marilyn Manson. Depeche Mode rolled in.
They loved their synths and yeah.
Oh yeah, the Viking guy. Well, he's not a Viking. Yeah, Techno Viking. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, remember that guy?
Not exactly.
Techno Viking. Actually, I think he was part of this act.
I think so.
Yeah.
Time traveler. Yeah.
Do you think he would know anything about that, Mr. Three-Finger Lizard person?
Illusion. But you're right about the road stuff. I remember the reason I brought up the diesel guy getting moited was because that stuff's been going on by them forever. And I wanted to tie that in with the electric cars catching fire in quotations. But if
Right.
you look at the stats, gas cars are still blowing up way more often.
Oh, yeah, well,
so it's just what you hear. And
It's,
they're
again,
just trying to make you hear
you don't even have to.
Blowing up as popularity or just like action?
exploding. Like
So remember the news stories
catching flame.
of yeah. So like if there's more attention paid to electric cars
Yeah.
exploding, then you'll think they're less safe. And you can also, like I was going to say, if you even, I don't even fully believe what I'm saying right now, but look at who owns those media companies or big funders of them, and it's big oil.
No, that's valid.
And
Yeah.
it's
if you hear enough facts, even if they're like twisted facts, but you hear them more than actually looking into them
yeah,
yourself,
of course.
you start to just think that's legit.
or people that
So-
own media conglomerates have stakes in oil and energy, and yeah.
But have you also ever seen like an electric vehicle fire?
I have
Those
not,
babies rip.
But, oh, okay,
Do
yeah,
they?
in like a video, yeah.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Come on, Jeff, get over here.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, and I think there's tons of criticism for that's valid for electric cars. Certainly, one of the companies that makes them.
Like firefighters hate this one simple trick.
Right.
Like, that's
I mean,
Putting them out is tough. Yeah.
and certainly
imagine a nuclear car fire.
we should be harassing our mayor and members of parliament and our council members. But like, yeah, we should always be
there was a call to action somewhere.
There was, they did do a list of numbers and
Yeah.
like photos of them. Did you see that? I actually looked at that article
Okay,
because
yeah.
you brought it up like a couple weeks back just because you're like, did you see this shit? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they have a like to for example, they give you like a street, like a cross reference for streets.
Okay.
And I looked it up on Google Maps. It's just like urban sprawl. It's just like one of those cookie cutter housing districts that have all of the same house of pick A, B, C style of house, but you all get the same friggin' house.
Yeah.
And then you get a gas station at the end. It didn't look like what they were referencing at all. So there's something twisted going on in the brain of that person.
People
and they actually
are-
looked up who that was. Like they were like, this is someone we know who's like a crazy cat lady.
okay.
So they looked her up. But it's just new housing that, like you said, we need.
Yeah,
And,
medium density at least.
You can't walk to get. I didn't see any like hospitals or sandwich
Schools
shops.
or- yeah.
Can we build a 15-minute city in less developed areas north? Sure, you're going to get into land protection. Sure. But,
yeah, like a trial, you mean?
that's
like
like I've always wondered that. Like,
Well-
sure, you're going to be in the elements are tougher and you're off the grid. In a
I'm all
sense, but,
for
like,
I'm all for more planned
Do that.
like communities and cities and.
Do we all have to be jammed in one place or two places?
Well, I mean
in
that's just
Canada,
the reality.
You know?
Yeah,
You know?
that's just the
what I'm
reality of where
saying.
we are
Like-
right now. I mean,
Like you got to do the 15-minute city, but like do it up like a mining town. Go find the mining town, revitalize it into a 15-minute mining town.
and have your purple LED surveillance for the
Well,
whole
one
yeah.
benefit of that would be that you can start from scratch. Like a lot of the stuff that we live in now were old trails where carriages used
Right.
to go.
It's a
and
silly
it's been
idea
so
'cause-
like
Yeah.
it's been 100 years now since like the electric trams that we had in these cities that where transit was actually decent, and it's just so car centric now.
Yeah.
That it's an uphill battle, but yeah, I mean I understand the fear. We're in some weird times, but people have absolutely lost their minds. I think like they
All
know
fronts, on all fronts.
too much and way too little at the same time.
Right.
And they just can't handle modern society. They're like,
So I,
it's basically like if you show a cell phone to a medieval peasant,
He would kill himself.
They're like,
He
that's
would
what
kill-
we're living.
You
We're
would-
living beside that medieval peasant right now, or that
you would
person
get
in
burned at
Oshawa
the
is.
stake for having that wizard.
They just don't know how to handle it. They just can't handle it.
I'd show a highlight of Austin Matthews scoring 54 and like
Yeah. Connor McDavid cutting through the New York Rangers.
this man's a god.
I did watch this crazy lady. Her name's Orit Dolev, and she did a a TED Talk 4 years ago. So this is not a new
Sounds like a
thing.
Was it
delicious
TEDx
pizza.
or was it TED?
I don't even. It was like whatever the crappier one was because it looked like it was in like
Was
a
TEDx.
broom
What
closet.
What is TEDx?
Yeah.
Is that like the
I think
X
it's
version
the
of TED?
budget version. I don't
The
know.
stage was not the full, like the camera like
The
got
OnlyFans
like the
version?
guys like the janitors on the side like like because it was like
So yeah,
it was like
some
not a
people
large stage.
some people will like try to make it look like they were doing a TED Talk, and it actually wasn't
It
any
felt like that a
affiliation.
little.
You were the
I mean-
opener and during the festival.
yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah.
They weren't alone. They had a crowd.
They weren't headlining TED.
Gotcha.
and she's real. I checked the
Okay,
LinkedIn.
sorry.
She's
So
real.
what was her name? Olivia.
Olivia Newton-John
Olivia
or
Olive Dunn?
Dolev.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I don't even know. Dolev sounds Russia. I don't know. Conspiracy. But the talk was called "Own Nothing, Have Everything."
Oh, that's another thing is
yes.
you'll own nothing and be happy.
And that's
that
titled-
people,
yeah,
people
very
absolutely
similar.
Schwab
people lost their
It
minds.
it came up
Yeah.
when I smashed my keyboard.
That's always
And I was
comes
like,
up, but
yeah.
also very, very, very vague. So when you don't give details,
Yeah, dude.
everyone's gonna think of everything.
She's a technical something developer, so she's in the tech world anyway.
Okay.
Technology product designer. So she's already trying to design for tech for human use anyway. So it's already this kind of stuff is in her brain, but she came off real creepy. She had one of those like the demeanor was like she never moved her feet and she just never blinked, and she was a lizard robot person. And
fingers.
yeah, she probably maybe had two
It's in the
fingers.
eyes,
That's
man.
how high
It's
up
in
the
the
rank she
eyes.
was.
Damn,
Like the
yeah,
less
yeah.
fingers you have, the higher up you are.
Agreed. I think
But her whole thing was like, we use Ubers now. We don't need cars. You know, like that was her idea. But like, what if we never had to do anything ourselves? Was her push basically.
sure,
So she was like, she didn't talk about, she actually did kind of talk about 50-minute cities in a way. She wanted like a community, like a commune. There was definitely communism vibes. She's Russian probably. But there was this
Russia's
whole,
pretty anti-communist right now. But
oh shit. Oh, okay. Well, this was 4 years ago.
most part.
4 years ago. She's probably like Spanish. I don't even know. But
sucks.
yeah, so she was like, you don't want to wash your clothes, right, guys? You don't need closets. Like, have a drone pick your one pair of clothing up, take it away at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Come back your next day. So she's saying everything's going to be a service in the future.
which is awful, and that's capitalism. But go on.
Yeah, I mean, she's making it the weird
not
thing
far
that
off.
she painted it in a positive light, which I had a hard time
Well-
swallowing that.
Yeah, I mean,
What's her stakes in?
Exactly.
Right,
Well, yeah,
and-
yeah. Who's benefiting from that at the end? Because you're going to have to. How are you going to pay for these services? Is what I want to know.
I paid you $100 to wear that Team Canada jersey.
really?
I got stakes in Team Canada.
There you go.
They're in the low-
you might not
they're-
want to have that right
they're-
now.
It's a buy situation. They're very low.
A recent stake. Yeah.
But yeah, she was like, I guess she was excited about never having to do laundry or dishes or anything. So in her head, she was just be like, let the robots
Everyone will like
win.
this.
Yeah. So you're basically like, you don't even need to be living in your own, like you won't own property. You will subscribe to property.
So the problem is some of that. Well, that's
so like
that's
rent
sort of
a house
a
and
little
then,
bit.
like, move
That's a
somewhere else
little
when you
bit
want.
how like property ownership works in China. You're not technically owning it. You're like leasing it for a lifetime kind of deal.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing. But and also a gross oversimplification. But yeah, like so some of these things sound like that could work, right? It wouldn't because everything sucks. And that's where I can understand the fear and the paranoia, but I think that fear of change is something that will not benefit us in the long run. Yeah.
If you're always going to be defensive, but in the way, yeah, past decisions have made people more defensive in that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
My big concern with that is, and it's something I deal with now, where I don't take responsibility for myself now, but imagine even having because she was like, why would you want to fix your own car? Why would you want to put gas in it?
Most of us don't, and also Tesla won't allow you to.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
thing.
but that's the thing.
But
They already have someone who's
eventually,
in there, yeah.
you're going to have to pay someone
You want to take all the knowledge away of all those things that
yeah,
you can do.
like basically
Like on your own.
So I
abdicating
agree that-
personal responsibility.
Put like that,
In that sense.
it is dystopian. It is scary, and I think that's fair. But also, living in a society means that I don't know how to fix a car.
Yeah,
I don't.
don't have
So
to,
therefore, I
yeah.
spend my time not fixing cars, and
That's her
I'm
argument,
not
yeah.
good at baking bread. I'm not a butcher. Therefore, I can just go buy bread and meat.
that's
right?
how it is now. Yeah,
Yeah, so a lot of it is just kind of describing how it is now, but
Well,
like with like a
if you can
with a
save
futurist
I
sheen
know.
on it.
yeah.
But we're talking about when you give up that choice, Now you're letting them decide how much you pay for a fixed car.
Totally.
How much
And
for the bread, right? You can't
I
fix
just-
it on your own with gain knowledge, right? So
I just don't see the threat to that choice really existing. And if it exists, if let's say the World Economic Forum is that threat, I promise you, people. Maybe I'm giving. Oh, I don't even care. Whatever. People like myself, much farther on the left, we're right there to resist any sort of World Economic Forum, Davos, that kind of bullshit. So like, there's hope. There's
Good.
hope of solidarity. I think.
so you're thinking like a Leafs Habs versus Bruin kind of
Yeah, we'll bring the brothers and sisters
Yes.
and be friends of the original six rivalries.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think the last like 5 years. When was the last time you heard like different sides kind of talking about common ground? Like,
sure. I mean,
how many times be like, you know what? We have our differences, but like at least we can,
at least
agree on
if we
that.
can agree on the
That'd be
same
nicer.
problems, maybe
Yeah.
we can finally get to a solution, kind of thing, right? And I think there's some compromise to be made. I think there's some
is-
compromise that
if
I am
is
not
some
willing to
buts.
make. And ultimately, we all want freedom. We all want security.
Democracy.
We have to. We all want to watch Starship Troopers on DVD tonight.
Play some Helldivers.
Well, we already live in kind of an awesome. It's scary how close we are to kind of like a Wall-E. You remember that movie?
Yes.
Of course.
Like just no bones anymore and having a great time eating shakes or whatever.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
we're
idea.
so comfortable.
I'm
the
almost
comfort
there.
is
I'm
almost
almost there.
there.
We're
Yeah.
so
Almost
comfortable here.
eligible
We're
for
so
the-
lucky. We're so
And I
privileged.
think most people would sacrifice a lot just to be comfortable and not have to really worry about much because that's kind of the dream, just eating grapes. Or
Maybe
whatever
that
on
is
the
sort
couch.
of the end
To-
point of society as
to-
Wall-E.
Yeah.
Transfer consciousness after you destroyed
That's
your
a whole other thing.
mortal flesh soul. And
One thing she did, she had a real big, like she was like, guys, I traveled the world, 30 cities in 5 years, 5 continents. And everyone's like, yeah. But
Wait, it took her that long to get to 30 cities?
I guess she stayed for a while. She was working.
Or she lived or worked,
Yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah.
wasn't traveling just to do it. But I think she has like in her brain, she capped off the whole talk at the TEDx in the janitor's closet with like, she was like, don't we all want to be like our nomadic ancestors? And then everyone's like, not really.
No.
And
No,
plus,
and she's not
they
discussing-
had stuff that they lugged around and they didn't want to do that. And they figured out how to eat food in one spot. And they
suffered.
stopped.
I mean,
So it's like-
in not to be a stickler, but European colonialism did stop a lot of nomadic people who didn't know how to farm and force them
Yeah,
into a
farming was a
situation.
big- yeah.
But it forced them into a situation that they didn't want to be in. But
Oh,
but anyway,
I was talking way like the
you're talking
Mediterranean,
10,000
like the cradle.
people who came to agriculturalism on their own.
The
and-
original farmers, yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But yeah, she has this whole weird thing of like, don't we all want to just? And I guess her ideal was like people can travel whenever they want, travel the world, go to like museums and such, whenever because they just have so much free time.
yeah.
I don't know.
paid by the company.
Well, I hope we can talk about this sort of fun and wacky, but also scary and stupid conspiracy stuff, or just the cultural
Keep a close eye on California.
the cultural paranoia of our time, and come at from different perspectives, and I think that's what we should do with this is talk about that stuff, and
Good to have that conversation.
yeah, and maybe
Refer to ourselves as average Joes.
yeah.
Well, do you remember the Dread movie from 2017?
Yes.
That's what I thought of when I heard of this because it was basically a
Slow-mo?
mall. It's what I live in now,
Yes,
basically,
yes.
like an apartment building with a Burger King on the first floor and maybe a doctor's office or something. So in Dread, they have these complexes that are basically like slums, but they have a police
4
station
million?
and stuff. And when bad stuff, like they have it for like bad weather or something, all the walls come up and lock you in, which is what I think people are worried this would be like.
They're not going to use it just for weather,
Yeah, oh no, of course. Yeah, there's always that people who are
copied
barely
the-
literate.
copied the raid,
people who
by
are
the way.
barely literate knowing what 1984 is.
Yeah, exactly.
Is probably not to the
Taylor
benefit of
Swift
society, but I still understand the yeah. Taylor Swift literally 1984. her album literally 1984. But yeah, like
Play it backwards, yeah.
you know, there we should always have hope and we should always be questioning.
I'm just going to say the electric cars, I feel like they're just going to get to a point where we're like 2 minutes from midnight and they're going to be like, let's hold this off for another 10 years. I'm telling you, like it's
Using the like, or sorry, like
the introduction into our society, like in a mass, like more than like the
yeah, I
release of
don't,
Tesla,
I don't.
like
It could come, but I don't know that it's.
companies are dropping left and right. They're saying nope, we're out.
Could they have
Yeah,
like
it's happening.
bicycle pedals or something if a solar
It's like
flare happens?
I'm just saying,
cars?
like it's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not quite.
Imminent, yeah. No, I don't think
Not-
any kind of forced electrification of our
And
vehicles is
and
imminent
if there's
at
an
all.
election, if the government changes here, you could see some of the stuff reversed there. You know, like we were talking earlier,
Yeah,
mining the stuff. One thing I never took into consideration: batteries.
Yeah.
oh, well, that's what we were talking about.
they're huge.
Or you mean
The weight of them.
the refuse and the? Oh,
No, I'm talking
okay,
about the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
weight in the car.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. But now you have a car that's almost weighed double. Now, how do you stop that? You need bigger, more more industrial sized brakes.
Yep. Yeah,
right?
you're
So
getting
to make
heavier
up a car-
cars. Yep.
I just it's not as soon as people should think it's going to happen. Like obviously Tesla, they have all these electric cars, but like it's not going to be like.
They've got a big market share, and
I think it's just some time still. I think,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think we're old and gray is when we're going to see like the whole more of like a now it's.
Sales are slowing down too, even with incentives. So I
Yeah.
think people are kind of the guys
That's
that
just why
would
it's on
chase
the car.
modern tech
Ultimately,
are not doing that
no
anymore.
matter what kind of car we're driving, isn't going to save this planet.
Yeah.
If there's
No,
not other
absolutely
kinds
not.
of changes, and
No-
that'll get people
No
afraid
carbon
too.
tax either.
No,
Again,
yeah,
like-
that it's Canada
that.
hasn't hit any of their carbon targets, any of their.
I know,
I can't even think of the word, but
I know what you're saying.
yeah,
Their
no,
objectives
like
and-
yeah, like it's bigger, much bigger changes are needed if any of that's going to happen, and I don't know that it will. But
I was burning a candle yesterday, and I was thinking about my impact, and I was like,
Your
I was looking at, I was
footprint
staring
or
at a
whatever.
candle. I don't think I was high. I could have.
Yeah,
I never
dread
know
comes with
anymore. Yeah, I burnt I'm trying to get rid of a Christmas scented candle that I still have, and I was like,
Kicks the door
just
open.
staring at that instead of doing the work I'm supposed to be doing.
Multi-shot.
And I'm like, man, what if I'm like, I'm wasting oxygen? And I was like, this would never, like, I'm just imagining all the huge, like, tire fires or whatever's going on in the world.
I
They're
know,
like,
right? They're
minimal
literally
impact.
throwing batteries into the ocean.
of course,
Yeah.
yeah. No, every measure that we would actually need to take to like
Brian's crying over a Yankee candle.
I was.
sobbing, like the commercial with the crying.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Indigenous bro.
Oh yes,
I'm that
I did
guy
see
in
a
my
really
family
cool
for
candle.
sure.
It's been making its shares on the memes lately, and it's it's a wax bust of the German guy from Lost Ark.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
with
you
the
know,
melting
when
face,
when they
yeah.
open, yeah, and the
Oh,
candle. like,
that would be really.
I'm like,
That's
you
clever.
gotta get one of those.
That's clever.
Those
If
are
it smells
cool.
good, I'm in.
I would kill
Brian
them.
won't.
If it
His
smells like burning
conscience
flesh,
stops him from getting
If
it.
it smells like the power of the Lord,
it actually smells like melted skin.
I would do that. I am that guy.
Oh my god!
Like smells like fear. It's like, oh, cool. I'll buy that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Lots of lots of stuff to burn on that.
all right.
Yeah, so I think that does it for this.
I think we solved every problem.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Don't go to Rome.
Yeah. Rome's over.
Yeah, Rome is so done.
Yep.
But
We
that's
know
it.
someone who's literally
Rome is
going
cooked, bro.
Rome is done.
Okay.
But that's it for what we have here on the electric cars, 15-minute cities. Yeah, stay tuned. We have more for you coming up. So,
Yeah.
good chat.
After
fellas.
this commercial break.